Yeah.
Yeah, I just wanted to add from that. You're totally right. There's so many experiences out there. You just need to be on the lookout, and it just leads on to the question that we just came in. It says, "How do you think future employers, do you think future employers will have sympathy towards this year's cohorts of aspiring students in terms of not getting any work experience and be able to volunteer?" Yes, absolutely. But still, don't think that's it. I can't do anything. For instance, we're in the same shoes as you. We can't meet up or have any legal experiences, but we're working towards holding events like this. We're attending sessions online. There is debating, mooting. There's so many things you can get yourself in, and you can draw that to your advantage and say, well, yes, it was the pandemic, that's correct, and obviously everybody was affected, but I did about 5 Zoom calls where I was the host, or I was the main speaker, or I held this session, or I entered into this competition online. And it could be something not even related to law, like Chili said, she was an actor. So you can, as long as you can link it to what you want to do, it's fine. Just keep a lookout on experiences. There's so many out there, and if you want something, you can find it.
Someone asked, where can I get funding from as I'm no longer supported by student finance? So me and Sarah can obviously relate to this very well because we have no funding for our course. I worked for a whole year to save the money for the course, but there are other scholarships out there that can help. There's organizations that you can reach out to that might be able to help. But for me, I found it easier to just get the money because I know for certain that I'll be able to save up, whereas you don't know if you'll be able to get the scholarship or not.
Yeah, absolutely. And we were grateful because they changed the fee from £20,000 into £13,000 this year, and I think it's dropping to £12,000 because of it's being virtual classes at the moment. So yeah, again, plan ahead, look at your options, not just one option like Benedict say. You need to have backup plan and backup plan. And again, it all goes back to whether you want this, do you want this really bad or not?
What would you expect to see when starting a law degree? Um, well, we had this conversation yesterday. We think the law degree compared to the BPC, if you want to be a barrister, it's completely different. They're nothing alike, absolutely nothing alike. With the law degree, you're learning about specific areas of law and how to basically apply them to a certain situation. Whereas with the BPC, it's more practical. So what you can expect is basically, this is a criminal module, this is a tort law module, this is a contract law module. These are some cases, and you get examined on it. But I personally was not very fond of the law degree. I don't it's I don't think it's some I think they should really reevaluate the law degree, because I don't really feel like it's that relevant. But if Sarah would you like to answer that?
I think Chili can take the question.
On how, what was it again? Sorry, what do I think of it?
What do you expect to see when starting a law degree?
What do you expect to see? I think if you haven't done any law before, it's new, but I think you're eased into it quite well. They break it down for you on how to answer a question. There's different styles of questions, and you learn how to answer those types of questions. For me, I enjoyed my law degree. There's some areas of law that I knew I didn't really like, and then other areas that I quite enjoyed. But yeah.
It's just normal uni, to be honest. It's just you get exams, you get tests and stuff like that. There's nothing special about it really. But there'll be areas that you prefer over other areas. So yeah. What skills would you need to have to stand out as a law student? Like I said earlier, when I was in university, I wasn't a very good law student, I'll say. I just kind of did my work and, went home. But I think mooting, doing like debating, society, those things they'll make you stand out a lot on your CV. Do you guys want to add anything to that?
Nothing from me.
Yeah, I was just going to say, yeah, to stand out, just try and involve yourself in as many things as you can. I didn't do it as much as I should have when I did my law degree, but I kind of wish that I had, you know, getting involved in mooting. It's a bit scary when you find out about it, but the more you do it, the better you get at it. So just getting involved in as many things as you can, really. That's the best way.
And if you're at the stage where you feel like, oh, I haven't done any of these things, don't panic, because it's still possible for you to progress onto the next stage of your journey to the bar, essentially. So, first year law student, what type of legal experience would be beneficial as a first year student? Personally, I wasn't really thinking about legal experience when I was in first year, but I think trying to get a mini pupillage, shadowing, those types of things will be very, very helpful, regardless of what year you are or what stage you are. Even if you're in college, if you can get something to put on your CV, then they'll see you as somebody that they need to look out for, basically.
Yeah, absolutely. And with the university, there's debating teams you can get into. There is extracurricular activities. There is the mooting competition that goes nationally as well. Also with the universities, so there are plenty of opportunities you can get involved in. Don't be afraid to get involved. Everybody's learning. I unfortunately did not. I wasn't quite active during my LLB because I was afraid. Everybody's going to judge me. I'm not good enough. But we have to start somewhere, and everybody's learning. Everybody's going to make a mistake. But okay, so what? Well, I'm learning. I'm human. So there are so many opportunities you can get involved in, and if you can't see anything that's visible to you, speak to your personal tutor, speak to your lecturer. There's always somebody that you can ask, even privately in a classroom. You can ask your colleagues, your fellow students. So yeah, just make sure you do something, you get involved in.
And we'll do a few more questions. So how did you decide on your law specialism? So for me, I've always been interested in criminal law, human rights, immigration. I didn't know anything about employment law when I was in uni because we didn't do it. It's only when I did my master's, we had to choose 6 modules. All 5 of my modules were based around human rights and criminal. And I had one spot and I didn't know what to choose because there was nothing else that I wanted to do. So I chose employment law randomly, and I found that I really, really enjoyed it. And it's become something that I'd like to practice in. Since then, I've done, advising employment law clients. So now I've kind of gotten more of an insight into it, and I really like it, basically. Do you guys want to answer?
Yeah, it's the same thing for me. I mean, I want to go into immigration law because I myself, I was a refugee, so I've been through that process. So I want to specialize in it because of the experience I've been exposed to. I also like to go into criminal as well because it's just so interesting, and it's similar to what Nathan said. You see on the TV all the CSI and the MI5 and all of that stuff, and I definitely want to get into it. And also from my work, I kind of work in related to criminal, not specifically criminal, but it's kind of criminal and immigration, and I love it. But then if you can't decide, you have to get, again, exposure. It's always about exposure, because in an interview, for example, a pupillage interview, they're going to ask you, okay, so yeah, I can see you've got passion for this, but how do you know you don't have passion for something else that you haven't tried? Okay, so that's why it's so important to even go down to, I don't know, personal injury chambers and say, hey, can I get some experience? And you hate it, and you never get your hands on it, but on the interview and on your CV you say, well, I tried it and I know it's not for me.
Chile.
Yeah, it's just pretty similar to what both of you guys have said. It's exposure, because I think it can be very different as well with learning the subject, and actually in practice it can be slightly different. So exposure will let you know which area that you want to go in. For me, I like quite a range of different areas. So I'm quite open when I'm applying for pupillage. I'm going to apply for different areas. I'm quite open to trying different areas. I didn't really want to limit myself in a particular area. I think that's another thing as well. I don't think you don't have to limit yourself when you're at this stage. So you can, if you're not sure, then that's fine. Yeah, so for me, I'm quite open to other areas as well.
Just going to go through quickly the ones that we haven't looked at in chat. So in order to, so with the Zoom being recorded, if you want access to it, you can follow us on social media. I think it's on the flyer, or you can send us an email or anything as well, and you will be able to give that to you. I will also be uploading it, if I can, on my YouTube channel. I want to base my YouTube channel like on law specifically and helping people to understand more about the bar. So all of that will be on my Instagram as well, if you want to know more about that. So the next one says, I've researched into human rights, but a lot of things I've read seems like it's impossible to get into if you didn't go into Cambridge or Oxford. I think a lot of the time people talk about red brick universities and you need to go to this uni, you need to go to that uni. If you don't go here, you're not good enough. That's not true, because at the end of the day, if you graduate with a first at Birmingham City University and you graduate with a 2-2 in Cambridge, you graduate with the first at Birmingham City University. That's what they're looking at. Obviously, it helps if it's like, yeah, I went to Cambridge. But for example, on the BPC course, I'm in a class with a girl who went to Cambridge. We're in the boat together at the end of the day. What happens now is what determines where we end up. It doesn't really matter whether you go into whichever university, in my opinion, anyway. Does anyone want to add anything to that?
I totally agree with what you said. It's the same thing with me. I've had so many negativity from people. You can't do it. You don't even speak the language. You can't do it. You don't have experience. You don't do it. You don't belong here. You know, you're a Muslim, and everybody in the bar is Christian, and they're white mainly. All of this talks, but don't worry, you can do it. Everybody can do it. If you focus, and if it's something you really want, don't let anybody stop you from getting what you want.
Chile, would you like to add on to that at all?
Yeah, I agree. I don't think it really matters where you do, what provider you go to. I think it's your own personal experience and how you portray that in your interviews. Yeah, and I think when you're applying for universities, you can normally see the percentage of the pupillage rate. So if that's something that you're cautious about, you can check that before to help you in deciding what provider you want to go to.
So the next question says, what would be the typical route to the bar, explaining the timeline and the process? Does one person want to just talk about that? Sarah, do you want to do that?
Sorry, what was the question again?
And what's the typical route to the bar?
So you do your LLB and you do your BTC straight away. You would be looking to apply to your BPTC course whilst you're doing your LLB course. So the third year, and probably looking at in your second year, you would look at what type of universities, if you want to do it part-time, if you want to do it full-time. Whilst you're doing that in your third year, you will look at pupillages for your year after the BPTC, because it's like that's the quickest way you can do it. Your LLB, your BPTC, your pupillage, and that's it, you're working.
Yeah. This one's quite long. I'm a recent LLB graduate and I'm looking to compare and contrast the different legal professions in order to determine the right legal career for myself. I'm currently following the path to qualify as a commercial solicitor, but I'm open to finding out more about what life as a barrister looks like. So my question is, what would be the typical route to the bar? So we've just had that, thanks. So what type of university is better to go to when studying the BPTC? Should I go to Uni of Law or BPP, where competition is everywhere, or go to a smaller provider where atmosphere is more calmer? I don't think it matters. We all go to different universities. Sarah goes to BPP, I go to ULaw, Chile goes to Nottingham Trent. You're getting the same qualifications at the end of the day. It's just about which university you prefer. I've always been attracted to the University of Law for some reason, and I've always wanted to go there. So that's exactly what I did. So research into it. I think a lot of these questions can be answered with, do your research, look up your, what area are you interested in, watch some YouTube videos, really think about what you want and really try to understand what it is that you're getting yourself into. Because yes, it's difficult, and yes, we're trying to make it more accessible to let people have more information about it. However, if you don't do the research, you just won't know. You just won't be able to answer any of these questions anyway. A lot of things are trial and error. So when you try something, it might not work out for you, then you realize that's not for you until you find something that does. So just read into the universities and see what you can find. But yeah, I think I'm just gonna see quickly, but I think we'll be closing. What was the biggest obstacle you felt you had to overcome in your pursuit of the career at the bar? I feel like my obstacle for me has yet to come, and I think it's going to be pupillage. Everything else is sort of like, a no-brainer. You have to do the bar course or else you can't be a barrister. That's it. Pupillage, I think it's going to be really, really difficult. In terms of pupillage as well, I did want to let you guys know that we will be hosting a pupillage advice event as well, just talking about pupillage applications. I'll have a panel of actual barristers, so you guys can get a great insight into what sort of things they're looking for, what your application needs to be like, interviews also, because we do have quite a few questions about interviews and things like that. So yeah, Sarah has just put our social media on the chat. So if you do have any further questions, if you would like to attend the next event that we host, which will be soon, the Pupillage Advice one, please follow us on social media. And once we get those flyers out, you guys can have the link. And if you have any other questions you do want to ask, if anything we didn't address already, feel free to DM us, send us an email, whatever, and we'll be able to answer those questions for you. Also, we did want to say as well that if you guys have any ideas of anything you want to know more about, I had somebody message me on Twitter that they want to know more about scholarships and how to get a scholarship. So if you guys have anything that you're particularly interested in that you would like addressed, please let us know as well. But thank you so much, guys, for coming. I think I speak for everyone when we say we were very nervous. This is our first event, but we think it went very well. So does anybody want to add anything?
Yeah, I just want to say thank you again for attending and staying on till the end. It was very, very helpful. You guys asked very good questions, and the questions were kept in common. So that was fantastic. We were so grateful to have such a big number of attendees, and you guys have been brilliant. So thank you. We were so lucky to have Nathan as a practicing barrister to come along and give his experiences. It was fantastic. It was inspirational for all of us, including me, Chilly, and Benedicte, because we're learning as well. And the learning curve doesn't end. Like Benedicte say, do follow us on Instagram. If you have any questions, don't be shy. Just drop us a message, and hopefully we'll be able to answer it. And again, if you want to know about specific topic, then let us know and we'll be able to host another event, hopefully. Yes, that's from me. Thank you.
Chilly?
Similar to what both you guys have said as well. I hope that the event was helpful to you guys and you've taken something from it. And yeah, just feel free if there's anything that we've missed out to message us. I don't mind you asking me any questions, so you can reach out if you've got any questions, and that's all.
Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you. Have a good night. Bye-bye.
Thank you.